Today we're going to make chicken soup. We've all had chicken soup growing up. We've had it at our grandparents' house. We've had it at restaurants. We've had it at fine catering halls. And most of the time, we can deal with it. But there's something special about a perfect chicken soup, and that's what we're going to do today. Chicken soup is all about the chicken. So we're going to start with chicken bones, not chicken meat, not chicken wings, something inexpensive, affordable, and something you can buy at your butcher shop. And if you don't see it on the shelf, you can certainly ask for it. Rinsed, cleaned, and you'll notice there's quite a bit of meat still on the bones. When you have a lot of meat on the bones, you're going to have a lot of flavor. And that's what we're going to use. Here we have a stock pot. You'll notice the shape of the stock pot. It's tall, it's skinny, and it'll stop the water from evaporating. And that's really helpful when you're making a broth. I'm going to use tongs because I don't want to get my hands dirty. As you know, chicken contains salmonella, and salmonella can give you a really bad stomachache and can get some people sick. So whenever working with chicken, you want to be careful not to cross-contaminate your cutting board or your hands. You'll notice I have chicken bones in the pot. It's halfway filled, not all the way to the top. There's room to put water in and other ingredients and allow for reduction. I'm going to take this over to the sink right now. We're going to just put some cold water right on top of that. Keep in mind to use cold water. Don't start with hot water. Cold water will give you a clearer product. It'll also give you a more flavorful soup. If you start with hot water, you'll find that your soup is not going to be as gelatinous. And that's what you're looking for out of a cold chicken soup, a jelly-like consistency. And you see, a lot of people will not fill up water enough, and they'll put too little, and some of the bones will be sticking out. This is going to cook for 2 hours, so I'm going to get a little bit more water in there than you would expect. I'm going to walk over to the stove right now. We're going to put this on the stove, put it on a high setting, and bring it to a boil quickly. We don't want raw chicken sitting in warm water for too long for health reasons. We don't want anybody getting sick. So we put it on a high setting, and we'll go back to our cutting board and set up our vegetables. So let's prepare our vegetables. Here I have a Spanish onion. I'm just going to cut off the top, cut off the bottom. You'll notice I'm using a very sharp knife. That really makes things easier. And believe it or not, it makes things a lot safer. I'm not going to cut these any further. I'm going to leave these whole so they don't distribute into the soup. Let's put this bowl right over here. We're going to move on to our celery. Let's pull the whole celery out and have a look at it. You'll notice that it's firm, it's a nice color, crisp, always a good sign. Now, if you've ever had the opportunity to eat one of these leaves, it's not very pretty, you'll find that they're very bitter. Of course, you put them in your soup, you're going to have a bitter soup. So I really don't recommend using those tops. For this soup, all we need is 1 or 2 stalks of celery. The dirt loves to live over here, so we're going to have to rinse that off. So we're going to take this over to the sink and give it a quick wash. 2 stalks might be a little too much, so just so they fit in the pot, I'll cut it in half. I think 3 pieces will do just fine. Put that in our bowl. We'll move on to our carrots. It's a really nice carrot, nice and crisp. That's what you're looking for out of a carrot. I think 2. Now, it's very important to remember that when you're working with chicken soup, the main flavoring is chicken. It's not carrots, it's not onions, it's not the herbs, it's not the spices. So we're going to be very gentle about what we put in as supporting characters. We're making chicken soup, we want to taste chicken. Not cabbage, not potatoes, not just carrots and onions. We want to taste chicken that's dressed up with some aromatics. Keep the carrot whole. Be easy to fish out later. Let's pull 1 more carrot. These are a little bit small. I'm thinking about what's happening in the pot. I don't want that soup to come to a boil when I'm not paying attention. It'll come boiling right over. Just pull off that top. It's a little dirty. You'll notice the back is a little dirty. Now we're going to move on to our parsnip. Parsnips and carrots have an affinity. They really help each other out. They're very flavorful, very sweet, and they work in unison very well with the carrot, and they taste great in a chicken soup. So we're going to peel these just like we did the carrot. Now, we don't need the whole parsnip. This is a big parsnip. The same rules apply. You're looking for firm and crisp. That was crisp. We're just going to take what we need. We're going to remove the bottom. Sharp knife, it's a good thing to have. Put that in the bowl. Going to clean off our board. Clean as you go, they always say. And there's a little rhyme there. It's a sign of a pro. Clean as you go, sign of a pro. One of the oldest lines in the cooking industry. We have garlic that I'm breaking up right now. Fresh garlic, no garlic powder. We're looking for a flaky outer skin. Fresh. You'll know right away when you smell it if it's fresh. And no sprouting, real dry, easy to work with. For a soup, some people love garlic. Put as much as you like. Like I said, I don't like it when things overpower too much. I want to taste the chicken soup, not the vegetables. If I was making vegetable soup, I'd be putting in more vegetables. Remember, we're looking for something that's somewhat neutral. We want to use this product to make rice. We want to use this product to cook sauces with. We have so many uses for chicken stock. You can drink it like a tea. Chicken soup. You know, there's a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul. And there's a reason that people associate chicken soup with the soul. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're at home. And a good chicken soup comes from people who care about what they're cooking. So I'm having a little trouble getting the skin off this garlic because it's sticky and fresh, and that's a good thing. What you can do is you can put it in some water, or you can just smash them. Skin comes right off. You see that? Just give it a little crack. Be careful not to hurt your hand on the sharp knife. Sometimes you just take off the tip. That's it. We'll take that garlic, put it into our bowl. You see there's not too much in there. Let's move on to our dry spices. Here we have some clove. It's very pungent. You might recognize it. It's besamim. I think I have to make a prayer now. We're going to use one. One clove will season an entire pot of chicken soup. Black peppercorns. As much as you prefer. I would say you can always put in more when you're done. You don't want to overdo it. And bay leaf. One bay leaf will season an entire pot, big or small. Put that aside. And then we have our fresh herbs. Fresh thyme. Very fragrant, spicy in flavor, very definitive. It's also very strong. So I would say 1 to 2 sprigs should be enough for the whole pot. We'll put that in. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick that I do in the restaurant. Why waste these beautiful herbs on something that's going to be cooking in a pot? This is something I like to use fresh. So what I'm going to do is just knock off the bottom. These stems have a tremendous amount of flavor. They work better in a soup. These will work better garnishing a dish that's cooked last minute. So I'm going to take a couple of the parsley stems. I'm going to take some of the dill stems, put that in. I'll reserve some just in case I want a little more flavor later. Let's clean up a little bit. Now, I think that's it. That's all it takes. These are our ingredients for the chicken soup. We have our main ingredient, the chicken in the pot, simmering in water right now, or I should say it's boiling, and we better go check on that pot real soon. And these are our aromatics, our vegetables, our herbs, our dry spices. These are the supporting characters. These are the accessories that's going to make that chicken soup come through your nose and really accentuate the whole experience. We're going to put these aside. We're not going to need them for at least an hour and a half. You ask why? Because these take much quicker to cook than it does to extract the flavor from those chicken bones. Let's walk over to the pot right now and see what's happening. We have a boiling pot of chicken soup here. And we have some foam coming up to the top. I have a little ladle here. Just going to take that foam off just to show you what that foam looks like. Those are impurities. Now when I say impurities, I don't mean that they're unnatural. I mean they're They're just undesirable. They're the proteins that make your chicken soup or chicken stock not clear. When I say stock, that's just a word that chefs throw around. It's just a base flavor of a certain ingredient. Chicken stock, veal stock, vegetable stock. But there's really no difference between a stock and a soup. A quality stock can always be served as a soup. Today we're making soup, so we're going to start using that word more often. You see all this foam is coming off the top? Just going to put that over there. We're going to bring our pot down to a lazy boil, a real slow simmer. We do not want to let this boil at this point. We want to have slow extraction. We want to have a clear soup. We don't want reduction. We don't want the water just to reduce down. We want flavor to go into that liquid. We don't want to have to keep adding more and more water. So we're going to bring it to the lowest possible setting. This is an excellent stove, and we have excellent simmer setting here. If you don't have an excellent stove, then you can just pull the pot right off the side so it takes a little less temperature from the bottom and lets more go into the air. Actually, this is showing what a proper simmer looks like. Pull the stock pot back, let it cook for an hour and a half, come back every 20 minutes, maybe skim off the excess foam that comes to the top or impurities or fats. Come back in about an hour and a half and put in our vegetables and finish this soup. Our soup has been cooking for an hour and a half. We've been careful not to let it boil. We've been skimming it. And now we're going to do one last skimming, and we're going to be careful to take off the fat from the top. Not all of it, just so that when we put our vegetables in, our vegetables aren't just sitting floating on top of the fat. As you know, fat always rises to the top, and that makes it real easy for us to handle. Here are our vegetables from early on. We're going to put these in gently. We're not going to just dump them in and have the water splash in our face or mix up the whole stock. When we're making stock and soup, it's very important not to agitate it. So we're just going to be very gentle when we put it in. You know, the difference between good cooks and bad cooks is that they take that extra 2 minutes to do things carefully. Bad cooks like to call it potchking. I call it cooking. Use our ladle. Just press it down gently. Make sure it comes up to a simmer again. And that's it. We'll be back in an hour and a half to finish it up. Coming through, hot chicken soup. Ready to go. It's cooked for 3 hours. The smell is intoxicating. It's really beautiful. It smells like home. It smells like Shabbos. It smells like a kitchen. It's the fundamental aroma that in any kitchen that's cooking good food. It's really something else. It's something I never get bored of. I've cooked thousands of chicken soups, and hopefully I'll cook 1,000 more. Let's pull out some garnishes first, real gently, so we can, without agitating the soup too much, let's see if off these bones we can't find just a little bit of meat. How about that? Look at that. See that? There's just a little meat. Little carrot without breaking it. Maybe a little onion. There's a parsnip hanging around here somewhere. Oh, there you are. All right, now we have some beautiful garnishes. Let's strain a little soup and see how it looks. That is crystal clear. Now, I like having a little bit of chicken fat floating on the top of my soup, but if you're somebody who wants an absolutely lean chicken soup, you can just strain this gently, put it in the refrigerator, let it cool, and you know, I'm sure you've seen it before, chicken fat just floats right to the top and you can just pull that right off. You'll have a 100% fat-free chicken soup. So that's a beautiful, clear chicken broth. Light gold in color. If we want more, we can go get some. We have our chicken broth. We have a beautiful plate. We pulled out some garnishes. We got this meat over here. We could just put that right in the bottom of the bowl. See, even chicken bones have meat. You can let this cool a little. My fingers are used to a little warmth. Put that in there. A little parsnip. We have lots of color now. A little bit of fresh herbs. We have some dill. Remember those tops that we saved? It's perfect use. We could chop it up or we just throw it in whole, real rustic. Keep the soup hot. Have the plates ready to go. Just taste for salt. Perfect. Crystal clear. And that's it. I hope you enjoy making the soup at home, and I hope you use it often. Remember, this can go into the freezer. This can go into the refrigerator for about 3 days. This can be cooked down and made into a chicken sauce. So, basics are the key to good cooking, and I do hope you use this recipe.